Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Kickin' Bass TV. Today, up here at Harvey Gap with my cousin. Hoping to get in some perch today, so do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. Let's go. All right, guys, so the ice recently has only been about 1.5 inches thick out at Harvey Gap, and still a lot of open water remaining, but the last couple nights in a row of consistently lower overnight temps, even though you can still see a lot of open water out by the dam where we were hoping to go today, has at least helped to build up enough ice in the center portion of the lake for us to target some perch out on the basin. So we headed out bright and early, stopped halfway to grab some food to cook out on the ice. I think this fox really wanted to come with us, but he didn't have any fishing gear. He didn't even have any money to pitch on gas. So unfortunately, we had to leave him there, headed straight to the lake, and got there right around 6 o'clock. As you can see, a lot of fresh snow, which can make this a lot more dangerous as it will insulate and add a lot of extra weight to that already thin ice. Once we got out to the first spot, we popped a couple holes. We found we had 3.5 to 4 inches of decent ice. So since it was only about 8 degrees to start the morning, decided to go ahead and set up the tent. Even though we only ended up getting on a few rainbow while we were there that first hour, we were at least able to stay warm until that sun popped up so we could get out, start moving around a little bit and targeting those perch. It did not take very long at all. We got out on that flat. We're about 18 feet of water here, got our first perch of the day. Even though it was just a little runt, that lets me know that we're on them. Since we can't get out on the dam, fish for those jumbos, we have to work this basin today, and it can be a larger area to cover, so we decided to settle down, pop a handful of holes, and work a grid. Usually we prefer to target these fish out near the dam, but because it's all open water, we're gonna take a different approach, and that's to work the basin, which is essentially just the open flat area here in the center with consistent depth. It doesn't matter if it's only 5 feet or 35 feet. They feel safe moving out to the open because they can see oncoming predators from farther away in all directions, but they are going to be moving around a bit, so sometimes it will require you to cover more water before you find them. Now, with me being the nice guy that I am, I told my cousin I'd help put him on some perch today, but as soon as we got there, he immediately started trying to show me up, started threatening me, saying that he could take over the channel. So I set him up a few feet away, and while he was distracted catching all them tiny perch, your boy was over here pulling in all the eaters. And even though the open water prevented us from really getting into him over by the dam, we still ended up catching about 30 perch. Half of them didn't quite make the cut, but the ones that did were all around 8 to 11 inches with a good amount of meat on them. So we still caught enough to take home, fillet up some perch tacos. We had a ton of fun today, and we got on the target species that we came here for. So definitely makes it worth the 3-hour drive, and it's just nice to get out of the city for a while. From there, we decided to move out a little bit closer to that open water by the dam, fire up the buddy heater so we could cook some barbecue jalapeno burgers. We did end up forgetting the lettuce and onions at the house, but nevertheless, still made those burgers up regardless, slapped them on the grill, and then it was time to get back to the action. We ended up getting into another 5 or 6 perch and another rainbow while we were cooking up lunch, but like I said, we're getting closer and closer to that open water near the dam, which means the ice is getting thinner and thinner. That is definitely something you need to be mindful of when you're out on the ice, regardless of your level of experience, but especially those of you that are newer to ice fishing. As you can see from the way this fish is swimming on the surface, we're now on about 1.5 inches of ice with 2 inches of water on top of it, and I do not recommend that for inexperienced ice anglers. We're out here for 2 reasons. Number 1, we know what we're doing and we know our limits, but number 2, and more importantly, we watch this ice develop. We know it's structurally sound. We've also been in constant communication with the rangers to compile information throughout the week so that we knew what we were walking into, and 2 inches of quality ice is going to be able to handle more weight per square foot than, say, 6 inches of cloudy, wind-beaten ice on the front range. So always exercise caution, common sense. Do not put yourself and others in danger. Before we knew it, the burgers were ready to go. Even though I left the onions, lettuce, tomato back at the house, we had those chopped jalapenos to put in the meat, a little melted Colby cheese on top. All it was left to do was slap a little barbecue on them, and even as plain as they were, they still came out bomb. We ended up hanging out for about another hour after lunch, caught a handful more decent eater-sized perch, and had a pretty good haul overall for the day. We got about a dozen good eaters a piece. So even though we weren't able to get out by the dam where we wanted to get into those jumbos, we still did all right and were able to salvage the day and make it worth the trip. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, hit that like button for me. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. That'll keep you up to date with our new videos and giveaways. And as always, I'd love to hear from you guys. So don't hesitate to leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Until next time, I'm D with Kickin' Bass TV.
Subscribe.